Welcome to the Fantasy Source Football Podcast. My name is David A. Arnott, sitting here with George Winkler. The fantasy playoffs are upon us. One and done. Throw your best stuff out there, otherwise you're out.
This is the time of year we've all been waiting for. If you're there and you barely got in, well, who cares? You're in the tournament
It's
now.
a whole new season.
Yeah, so just throw everything at what you got.
Now, given that it is a whole new season, we still don't ignore the things that happened previously. We have learned a lot in the first 13 weeks of the season. One of the things that I think is most fascinating this particular year, just in all of football, both fantasy, real life, as it were, is I think that it's fair to say that I strongly suspect this is the first year of Peyton Manning's decline. And part of it is that the Colts are going to fail to win 12 games for the first time in what seems like forever. And second of all is that at the end of the season, or second half of the season at least, he's just been an interception machine.
It's been terrible. 11 interceptions in the last 3 games, but oddly enough, I'm still having a little bit of faith in Peyton Manning.
Well, you can't completely doubt him because he's so amazing. Like, he does have the laser rocket arm.
And he's going to be throwing 50 times a game because their running game stinks, quite frankly. And this is the one season where you don't have to worry about him being rested in Week 16 because the Colts are going to have to fight for a playoff spot. There are no matchups against the Ravens that will stop you and make you freak out. He's got a very favorable schedule starting tonight with the Titans.
Who else is he playing in the fantasy playoffs?
He's got Jacksonville, he's at Oakland, and then Tennessee at home again for those foolish people who go into Week 17.
Yeah, why'd you set your lead up that way? Anyway, that's a different discussion for a different day. But Peyton Manning, if you've got him at the end of the season, you still have to ride him out. You likely don't have a better option at quarterback no matter what, unless you were one of those very lucky Michael Vick people, at which point, why'd you keep Peyton Manning at this point? Why didn't you trade him off to somebody else? I feel like it's one of those situations where it's more of a next season don't quite pump him up to be the top quarterback taken situation more than I'm not going to play him this year.
Yeah, I think that's right. He's been distraught by a bunch of injuries to his receiving core this year, and the running game has had its injuries. So, he's still going to, like I said, throw 50 times a game, and you just hope and pray that the interceptions will get knocked down, that his receivers will get on the same page with him. If anybody can do it, it's Peyton Manning.
Now, a guy that may have been on the waiver wire in your league and may also have been drafted in one of the very final rounds, putting together an okay season for himself, Matt Castle. I see you have him written down in your list here. Do you think that he's the kind of guy that if you've got bottom 10, 11, 12 type quarterbacks in the league, that you might consider starting him during the playoffs?
Well, he had the appendectomy yesterday, and so they haven't ruled him out yet, but I have a hard time believing that Matt Castle's going to play on Sunday against the Chargers' top-ranked pass defense. So it could be Brody Croyle in there, and right now Dwayne Bowe fans are freaking out about that, especially after Bowe was shut down last week. But I'm sticking with Bowe. I think that, overall he's been hot over the past 5 weeks, so you have to stick with him as your stud receiver because, again, your options are, a little bit limited.
So appendectomy or no, even though they're not ruling him out, and from what we can tell, he's going to try to play. If they do rule him out, obviously you can't play him, but you still think that Dwayne Bowe is worth holding on to and starting, and even with the legendary Brody Croyle in there, it's not really somebody. Bowe, you think, has gotten to the point where you're not going to sit him for anybody or anything.
I think so, and it's not like Castle is a great quarterback.
Right.
He's come on at the right times, but his stats haven't been overwhelming. I think that Bowe can get it done with Croyle. Now, you asked about other quarterbacks, that you might think about being on the fringe this week, and I actually like a couple of guys, David Garrard and John Kitna this week.
Who are they playing?
You got Garrard against the Raiders and Kitna against the Eagles, and both of those defenses normally pretty good against the pass, but you got Asamoah who's beat up for the Raiders, and then you got Asante Samuel who's beat up for the Eagles. So these teams are a little bit ripe for the picking at the right time. So if you are toward the bottom of your quarterback situation, you don't have a Manning or a stud guy, you might want to look at Garrard in one of these situations, or Kitna.
All right, George. Well, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Okay, thank you.